When you have droughts, then it means that you will not have enough water in the dams.
Does climate change cause deterioration in the economy?
In an acre, maybe if you are getting 20 bags of maize, we'll end up getting only 10, because this is all an effect of climate change.
Join us every Tuesday as we'll be speaking matters climate change only at Kilimo Faida TV. Alright, good evening and thank you so much for continuing staying with us. You are watching Kilimo Faida Television, and today I'm your host Daniel Kihoro. Remember that I'm just helping Mr. Bernard Kivani, who is the host of Kilimo Faida Television. But keep tweeting at Kilimo Faida Television at Daniel Kihoro Kenya. Hashtag is climate change. And today I'm having here my guest, Ayub Njugun. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
He's the climate change expert, and today we are going to talk, how does the climate change affect the economy of the country? How does climate change affect the economy of the country? Nice to meet you again once more, and nice to have you at our television today. How is everything?
Everything is fine,
okay.
And I'm also grateful to be in Kilimo Faida Television,
okay,
courtesy of Mr. Daniel Kihoro. Today we will be speaking more about how the climate change is affecting our economy as a country.
Yeah, sure.
And this is quite interesting topic to maneuver in today, because we are living in a very hard economic times, and we must all accept that climate change is one of the great contributors to the same.
Okay.
And as you know, Kenya, our backbone, or the backbone of our economy, is agriculture. And for agriculture to thrive, there is those climate conditions that are required. So whenever we have a slight change in the climate, we must all accept that the backbone of our economy, which is agriculture, is adversely affected.
Okay. Maybe to start, Mr. Alvin Juguna, because you know we have so many people maybe today who they don't know what's climate change.
Yes.
And maybe for that person maybe who is watching for the first time Kilimo Faida Television, for the benefit of the viewer, kindly explain in 1 second or in 1 minute maybe what's climate change, and what are the causes of climate change?
Mr. Kihoro, I don't want to use much technical terms, but this is a simple illustration of what is happening. You know, it is for the first time in our country, Kenya, that we are having floods that are affecting people. Like you can see what is happened in Naivasha around Maimahiu, and you hear everyone is crying of floods. Sometimes last year at the same time we were crying of drought. So those advanced changes in climate patterns, such that you cannot predict what is to happen tomorrow with the climate, and when predicted they come to with unbudgeted or beyond the estimate. That is what we call climate change.
Okay. The topic of the day is about the climate change and the economy.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time we've been hearing the President of the Republic of Kenya, that is Dr. William Ruto. He was saying that he is trying to subside the consumption and is focusing more on agriculture. According to my understanding, President William Ruto wants to invest more on agriculture, because he believes that once agriculture do well, also the economy will be doing well.
Yeah.
Justify this statement of President William Ruto. Do you agree or disagree with the president?
One, I think that is unquestionable wisdom, because subsidizing production, it means you will be doing it today, tomorrow, forever.
Okay.
But once you subsidize production and there is a lot of production, then it means it is a long-term process where you might not feel the impact today, but the impact will be far-fetching, or will not be for a short while, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
When there is a lot of production of food, there is a lot of production of everything. It means, okay, in economics we say when the production or when the supply is high, the demand is low.
Yeah, sure.
And when the demand is low, then it means
the supply is high.
The supply is high, and the cost of buying those items will be low, and that will make our economy, or basic things like food, to be affordable to the common mwananchi. So it is true, okay, it is unquestionable wisdom. That is what I can refer to it as, to say that we should subsidize our production.
Okay, but now because we are talking matters like climate change,
Yes.
we know agriculture depends more on the weather
Yeah.
of the maybe of the day.
Yeah.
We can invest more. We can invest very much in an agriculture, but now due to climate change,
Yes.
we find things are going differently. Maybe what are the causes of climate change, and maybe what are we going to do so that at least we can ensure that now because we want to invest more on agriculture, how are we going to ensure that the weather pattern remains stable? As per now, whereby we are having an unstable climate change.
Yeah, Mr. Kihoro, you know what happens? We are the great. We also contribute to what we are calling climate change, like today. When we are using firewood, we are using charcoal, we are using petroleum or other things, and we emit a lot of carbon to the atmosphere. We are bringing about something called global warming,
Okay.
and all that. So I wish we would embrace having environment-friendly use of energy, so that we are going to minimize the amount of carbon that is released to the air. But before then, we also have to plant a lot of trees. We have to plant a lot of trees. From primary school science, we are told there is something called photosynthesis, and it is through photosynthesis that the plant absorbs the carbon dioxide that is in the atmosphere. So by that, you'll be bringing down what is called the amount of carbon in the atmosphere, and that is one of the measures to help curb the climate change that we are experiencing today. However, you know, Kehoro, once you plant trees in your place and someone else hasn't planted, then it means you are not safe, right? There is those things like establishing or bringing artificial conditions for your plants, so that they can thrive despite the climate change argument and everything. You have seen farmers do some greenhouses, so that is giving the plant some artificial conditions so that it can thrive. You regulate the conditions in that greenhouse, they cannot be affected by what is outside. So I would advise farmers, sometimes you can embrace some smart agriculture or agricultural techniques, so that you will not be crying. You know, in other countries, people are planting, people are harvesting, and there is climate change also. So we also have to be smart in a way. We have to change the old techniques because the menace is different.
Okay, but you're saying that maybe the problem is because we don't have a lot of trees in our country. But so, for example, the flood that we were experiencing some few months ago, it was affecting the whole world. Do you think that even let's assume that Kenya is a growing country.
Yeah.
Do you think the developed country already, they don't know that maybe they are supposed to be doing this and this and this and this so that to cater for climate change? What exactly do we need to do so that at least we can ensure that we control climate change? Because talking matters industrial, we can't stop industries now because of weather. People have to continue with life. Remember, industries as the one that run also economy. But you're saying that we have maybe to stop industries. We have to do planting trees alone. Does it make sure, or does it make the climate to work well, Mr. Njuguna?
Okay, you know, climate change should not be a goal ever in our lives. Climate change will always be a result of the human activities that we do. Kehoro, you never wake up today and say, I want to change the climate. But whatever you do today contribute to a positive or a negative change to the climate. So, one, we cannot say that we cannot stop our industries. We have regulations, there is registration in parliament, and when a company comes to Kenya, they must all abide to the regulations and ensure that the activities they are doing are environmental friendly. You know, Kehoro, we have borrowed this earth from our grandchildren, and they deserve to get a good earth.
Okay.
So there is no point I can do whatever I want. I must be responsible of what I'm doing so that my grandchildren will be good when they are coming to the earth. Also, Kehoro,
yes,
to add on what you just said about the economy, and Kenya is a growing country and all that. Also, as a country, there is something we should reason. Kehoro, why don't we have such ways from other developed countries about climate change, about floods? There is also something we should do about our own planning. You know, someone is building his or her house just a meter from the river. what are you expecting when the river is full?
Okay.
So there is also things maybe we can do about our settlement schemes and all that.
Okay.
And also, there is something that happens in other developed countries. For rivers, you get excavators going to dig deep to the rivers to ensure that the river will have will not, the water will not overflow. And that is something that is doable.
Okay.
Because we have put a lot of litter in our rivers such that it has blocked, there is no water flow, and when water comes, water gets way to people's houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because of time, Mr. Njuguna, let's come now to the big question.
Yeah.
How does climate change affect, or it is called deterioration?
Yeah.
How does it deteriorate the economy of the country?
Yeah. Number one, Kehoro, we must all agree there is a lot of money that was wasted in trying to curb the floods that we are experiencing as a country.
Yeah, sure.
So, do you know all that money would have had a very positive and great impact if injected somewhere in the economy?
But Njuguna, there is something called, I know a bit of politics.
Yeah.
In the economy, there is something called emergency fund. For example, if you're having a disaster in the country, there is some amount of money that has been budgeted to cater for such a thing.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's is your point making sense? Maybe?
Okay, that's where I'm coming to. Those senses relative, Mr. Kehoro.
Okay.
Okay. Having emergency fund doesn't mean you should try and have emergencies, so that the money we budgeted for will go to the emergencies. In case that emergency does not arise for 2, 3, 4 years, then it means the amount we budget for emergencies will go down, and a lot of money will be directed to the agriculture. Then it means the subsidized fertilizer that people are getting at Kenya shillings 3,000, people may start getting them at 2,000 Kenya shillings. And when you subsidize farm input, you are encouraging the farmer to farm more. Maybe Kehoro, you would have only tilled 1 acre of land when the fertilizer was at Kenya shillings 300. But because the fertilizer has gone down to Kenya shillings 2,000, you are going to do 3 acres of land.
Okay.
That is increasing the productivity of a country. Number two, when we have advanced weather conditions, there is a lot of farm inputs, herbicides, pesticides that you have to use so that you are going to ensure that your plants are safe. For example, I come from a place where people plant potatoes.
Okay. Kinangop.
Yeah, Kinangop.
Yes.
And when there is some excess rainfall, there is something called potato blight that comes.
Yes.
And you have to go, after every week, you have to buy some herbicides and some farm input to go and spray to your potatoes so that potato will not go bad, right? So it means at the end of the day, when you are selling your potato, you have to increase the price because the cost of production of the same potato was high. So some climate change or the changes we have in the climate are bringing about an increase in the production cost, and hence make our farm products to be expensive.
Much expensive.
Maybe I can point out also on this. You know, Kehoro, you don't want your pyrethrum, your peas, your maize to go bad because of those advanced weather conditions. So you use a lot of pesticides, and this makes some of our products to be unacceptable in the foreign market because we are using pesticides in excess. You know, that makes us, it limits our market, and we have to do them locally.
Okay.
So maybe I would have sold some of my flowers outside Kenya, but because of the herbicides I used in excess, I can't sell them outside the country. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was Ayub Njuguna. I think he has talked more about how does climate change affect our economy. But Njuguna, now because we are having like 2 minutes to finish the conversation, I think we need to have more time. We'll create another time with my director here so that at least we can have more time. I want you to, maybe for example today you have been chosen to be a climate change expert, for example, to represent the country. How are you going to advise the President of Republic of Kenya concerning matters climate change?
One, climate change, as I said, is not a goal. It is a it is a byproduct of what we do.
Yeah, sure.
And we must call people from all sectors of life. We must call people from the petroleum sector. We must call people from the agricultural sector. We must call people from industrial sector.
Yeah.
We must call everyone on board and evaluate what are you doing that is harming our environment. So that is what we are going to change.
Okay.
The fight for climate change will not be a one-man battle. It is a holistic battle that needs everyone, the farmer, the teacher, the politician, the businessman, everyone included, so that we can conquer this fight.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I think our viewers have already learned something about how economy works. I decided to bring Mr. Ayub Njuguna because he's an economist and he knows more about economy. Also, he's a politician, so he knows more about politics. But I want to say thank you so much for being with us. Remember, this is Kilimo Faida Television, and today Kihoro Daniel, the producer, today now is the host. Bernard Kimani, amenituma niwasalimu sana. Today Bernard Kimani is the director, and I think next time he'll be the host, but matters climate change, most of the time Kihoro will be the host. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayub Njuguna. I think we'll have another time so that we can have more conversation about this. Have a lovely day ahead.